Hey folks, the Fit Photographer here. I hope the new year is treating you well. Let's jump straight into it. So this video is about a noob, me going about a photo shoot, a photo walk, and how I got the shot that you see on the title card, on the thumbnail, and how I went about shooting it and how I'm editing the shot. Now I'll be able to show you how I edit the shot, the photo. I won't be able to show you a BTS because I did not take one. Also, one thing that I would want to stress here is this is not a sponsored video, neither it's not a tutorial. This is front row experience for you, the photographers and everyone who are watching this video, to how a noob like me, to someone who is starting out their photographic journey, how they go about capturing and editing their photos, and how they learn from others and how they implement what they learn from others. I myself have benefited tremendously from the expert photographers on YouTube, the photographers and the retouchers and the editors. I learned about writing from the great photographers at Aroma TV, folks such as Gavin Owen, Incy Adler. I learned about Photoshop, Unmesh, Piximperfect, retouching from a lot of folks, and color grading from Joanna Costa. So I have all that, and for someone who is constantly referring to or watching YouTube videos, there is a lot of information that is going around and you are bombarded with information. You would be able to relate to photographers who are starting out. So I'm here just showing you how I have taken in all this information and how I am implementing it. So what happened was, yesterday, a great gentleman and a team of photographers, I'll leave their link down the description. They organized a photo walk here in Melbourne. So it was at Fitzroy Garden. It was a themed photo shoot. The theme was cottagecore. So you had all this Victorian farmer's outfit. That was the theme. So what I did was, the photo walk was in the evening. That is the golden hour. What I did was, I actually took this beast with me, the Kodak's 8300 Pro. So it's an external flash. I am someone who has grown very fond of shooting in direct sun with an external flash. I see that the output is quite to my liking. I have done a couple of shoots with this external flash. So I took this to the photo shoot yesterday, and I just had an umbrella with me, an umbrella diffusion stuck on the front, and that is how I was able to get the shot. Now let's go right into the editing. My process is to start with analyzing the colors in the image itself. So this is the image straight out of the camera. It's good because I had used the flash and to illuminate the subject, and she's sitting there. So this is a perfect candidate, a perfect photograph to bring about a dreamy look. So I want to analyze the colors in the image itself, so that I went from someone who just went for the contrast, increasing the contrast slider, decreasing the highlights, increasing the shadows, whites and blacks, to bring about contrast on a global level. And I just thought popping up that image like that would make it pleasing. So I've sort of stayed away from that for some time now. So I try to analyze the color theme, the color harmony, if there is one in the image. We could see that this is sort of a split complementary. It would be nice if the image was something, if the color palettes were something like this, that would be a perfect split complementary. But then, just because it's a perfect split complementary doesn't mean the image should be appealing. So my aim here is to bring it close to the split complementary, so that I don't make the image look very jarring. So let's head to Photoshop. So here is the image. The first step I do is I duplicate the background layer so that I don't do anything that I'll regret to the original layer itself. My first task would be to get rid of this stick. I could have used a healing brush or a patch tool to do it, but then Adobe's Firefly is there for the rescue, and I'm paying for my subscription, so I just used AI to remove the stick. It did a pretty good job. Followed by that, based on the color harmony that we saw on color.adobe.com, I masked only the sky, and I brought about a bit of cyan into the sky with the help of curves. You could see that in the curves, I have bumped up the highlights and the shadows a bit, and I have decreased the red. I went to this red channel. You see that there is a slight decrease in red, and that has brought about cyan. You could see it very subtle here. This is the before. If you look at the sky, this is the before, this is the after. And then my next task was, according to the color wheel, change the hue of the green a little bit, because this picture has all hues of green, almost many hues of green, many shades of green. So I went sort of all out with the sliders over here. As you could see, I introduced a lot of red, I introduced a lot of green, I introduced a lot of yellow, and I darkened the green as well. So this is the before, this is the after, and I haven't even lowered the opacity of this green. And followed by that, so you could see that the predominant color on the model is red and orange. So I did a selective color, masked out only the subject to intensify the red. You could see the pop, you're able to see that pop. I like that, the way it looked. Then I grouped them all and I called them color harmony adjustment. Then I overlaid that with a photo filter. I went for the cooling filter. The only two photo filters I really use are the warming and the cooling filters. I really don't care much for the others, or I haven't clicked other pictures which need this, or maybe that's just not my thing. So I added this photo filter layer and I lowered the opacity to 50. From here on, it's all about the subtle adjustments. None of the adjustments are at 100%. And then what I did was I created a stamp of all the adjustments with the underlying layer. I did that by using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Alt-Shift-E. That creates a stamp. And now what I did was I added the glow to it, or the dreamy kind of haze to it. And I did this by introducing filter Gaussian blur. And what I did was I changed the blend mode to light color, because if it was normal, all you would see is a puddle of blurred image, right? So I changed the blend mode to lighter color and I lowered the opacity to 54%. Followed by that, since the model is being illuminated by my flash, which was here, somewhere around here, and this being an ethereal sort of a photo, I thought adding a kind of a glow over here would, make sense. That's what I did. I added a gradient layer. You could see this is the gradient. It goes from yellow, it turns, it sort of transitions to magenta. So you could see yellow over here and magenta over here. And this is what we did. It is a radial gradient and I placed it somewhere. You could move the gradient once you create it. I adjusted the scale and I did that. The opacity was lowered, it wasn't at 100. Then I went for a curves adjustment to give the overall image a pop. You could see that. And then followed by a LUT, a color lookup. I liked the way the photo looked when I used this one, Foggy Night 3D LUT. So I used that. And what I did was I masked out the areas where I placed the glow and where the glow fell on the model. So I took a very soft brush and I just dabbed on these places so that the LUT is not applied on these places, not completely. And then again, I lowered the opacity way lower. And there you have it. This is the edit and this is the ethereal look that I went for. I'm sure there is lots of room for improvement. I could see that, when I shot this area, I don't like this sort of, the shadow. I tried bringing out the shadow here to no avail. I just didn't have details in it. I should have, when I set the exposure in my camera for the background, I should have paid attention to this, and I wish I had exposed a bit higher so that I could have extracted some details in it. I don't like that it is completely black, and so are these patches. These patches are at least okay, but then this is very jarring to me. And like that, I'm sure there are many other areas of improvement in this. So let me know your thoughts. Please be kind in the comments, and I'm learning as well, as I've said. And I think some of you would have gotten something from it. So thank you for staying with me until a while.